there. My name is Corinne O'Flynn, and you're listening to the Calm Entrepreneur Podcast. I am a USA Today bestselling author, nonprofit executive, and organizing nerd with over 20 years experience running my own small businesses. I teach entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and small business owners like you how to organize your business, find more time, and deepen your alignment practice to experience more calm and confidence every single day. If you're looking for that intersection between practical business advice and spiritual goodness, then you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this week's episode of the Calm Entrepreneur Podcast. Welcome to the Calm Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Corinne O'Flynn, and this is episode 19. So this week, I am going to share with you the fruits of my labors over the last week or so, where I have been sitting down with myself and having meetings with myself, making lists and brainstorming ideas on how to market my business without paid ads. And this is not something that I'm against. I'm not against paid advertising, but using paid ads is not, a turnkey solution. It's not something that is guaranteed to work. And if any of you out there have run a paid ad campaign, you know that just because you turn on an ad and you start running, an ad campaign does not mean that it's actually giving any kind of return, right? Paid ads, especially on social media, paid advertising is a skill. It's something that you learn, and it takes time, and it takes money, and it takes iteration, and it takes tweaking and constant watching before you find an ad that you're running that's effective. And only then, once your ad has been proven to be effective, should you be scaling your ads, right? Otherwise, you're just throwing good money after bad, right? With that in mind, knowing that paid ads aren't the be-all, end-all, and launching an ad today does not mean you're reaching tons of eyeballs tomorrow. What do you do in the interim? And that's why I had myself sitting down with myself in a meeting, a one-on-one with myself, to brainstorm as many ways as I could to market my business and market my podcast and all the things that I'm doing outside of paid advertising, right? Because marketing, it plays a crucial role in reaching our customers, right? And growing our brand. And again, while paid advertising is often the go-to, right? It is not the only way to market. So I think that you can achieve incredible results using free marketing methods that allow you to connect with customers and build brand loyalty and increase your bottom line without breaking the bank. And that's really what it boils down to, right? It's not just about what's going to work. It's what's going to be most efficient and on the bottom line, because let's face it, we're small businesses. The bottom line is really, it's thin in a lot of cases. And so we have to really do the best that we can to serve our business so that we can serve more and more of our customers effectively. And that does not work if we're blowing our budget on paid advertising. So with that in mind, I've got 10 budget-friendly strategies to help you promote your brand and boost your sales. And this is one of those things. I got 2 caveats. Number 1, this list is not exhaustive. This list was a curated list of 10 of the best ones that I picked from my list that I'm gonna start to do next. I do have a more exhaustive list that maybe I'll share in a future episode. But so that's the first one. This is not the be all end all of all the things that you could possibly do. This is just a brainstorm with 10. And the other caveat is take what works and leave the rest. Not every solution is going to work for every business, and not every solution is going to feel right for every person. So try them on, sit with them for a little bit, see if they fit for you, if they sound juicy, and if they don't, you know what? Move on. There's 10 things here that you can choose from, and I bet there's at least 2 that are worth trying without even giving another moment's thought. So the first one, and again, my third caveat, I guess, is that these are 10 things listed in no particular order. I literally just put my list together to share with you, and I have some tips to go with each of them. So the first one is collaborating with other businesses. And this one comes from authorland. This is something that independent authors do really, really well. And it is the reason why I am a successful author in fiction. I collaborate with other authors all the time. So one of the smartest things that you can do as an entrepreneur is listen to and watch what people in other verticals are doing to find success, right? And I think that we're also tempted to stick to our niche when it comes to like the advice that we consume or the events that we attend and the things that we think about with how we're going to reach our business. But that very, very quickly turns into an echo chamber where everybody is doing everything exactly the same. And, how do you stand out when that starts to happen? Because it does happen, right? In every single vertical. So one of the best pieces of advice that I ever learned in running businesses in all of my years of doing so is keep an eye on what other businesses outside of your vertical are doing and see how you can apply those things to your business and your niche and your vertical. So to that end, collaborate with other businesses. Team up with other businesses to create partnerships that are win-win, create joint promotions, shared events, or simply agree to refer customers to each other when there are places where you can help serve your customers better, right? This helps both of your businesses grow. And you will be amazed at how much you can achieve when you work together with other people in your niche. And it does a couple of things. The first thing is it really does foster a sense of trust. When you are in your business and you have somebody who comes to you looking for something very particular and you say, yeah, I could probably serve that customer. But you happen to know that you have somebody appear in your niche who also does what you do, but they do this particular facet of the business so much more deeply. And you refer that customer to them instead. The trust that builds, right? It builds a sense of trust for that customer who's going to say, wow, you know what? Thank you so much for seeing to my needs. And, did you get the sale in that case? No, but it isn't about, just quantifying all the sales and how much each individual person is worth to you. I think that there is something to say about creating a partnership inside your niche with your peers, because the next time that other entrepreneur has somebody who's looking for what you've got, you can bet that they're going to send them your way if that works best for the customer. So I would really like you to think about how to find ways to collaborate with other entrepreneurs in your niche, right? And so some tips to getting that done is to identify potential partners, right? Look around and see who else is doing what you're doing. And they don't have to be doing exactly what you're doing. They can be doing things adjacent, or they can have like in the Venn diagram, they could exist in the overlap of the two circles. Find people that are doing things that complement your business, right? And approach them with an idea. And I say to approach them with an idea, like come to them prepared to do something like, hey, I have this idea for this thing. And, this might not be a good thing, but hey, I'd love to talk to you and, talk about different ways that we can collaborate. And some of those things can be co-hosting events, doing joint events or workshops, and you attract both of your audiences. And another way that you can think about doing this, which really doesn't take a lot of effort for either of you, is sharing an Instagram live. If you go live on your Instagram and they join you, both of your audiences get the notification that you're live, and you've instantaneously, real time, sent out a notification to two audiences that you're both doing something together. So if you're able to come together with a purpose to have a conversation like that, that's wonderful, right? And that's quick and that's easy and it's free. Instagram allows for that. And whether or not you do something that's customer facing, you could actually create a peer group behind the scenes. You could share resources, right? You could do a mastermind where you talk about what's working, what's not working. What have you tried? What are your customers saying? What are you hearing? All of these things allow you to tap into more efficiencies and more effectiveness. And it also creates these connections with your peers, right? when you have a network of people who understand that you are here to serve your community, and you find other like-minded entrepreneurs who are likewise here to serve, the partnership vibration that happens, that connection between you two shifts from one of competition to one of collaboration. And that is just, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that is my number one tip, or tip number one. It is not my number one tip, but it is tip number one: collaborate with other businesses. And number two is create more valuable content. And this is not create additional valuable content. It's create content that is more valuable. The more you're able to share useful and engaging content with your audience, the more you build trust and attract new customers, right? And this looks like blog posts and infographics and videos and podcasts and different ways that you can share insights into what you do that speaks to the audience's pain points, right? You want to offer solutions. And a lot of people talk about marketing gurus, I should say. A lot of marketing gurus, there's two sides of a fence on this one. Some people are on my side of the fence where they say, offer the solutions, give some more value, share all the things. And then other people will say, no, don't share all the things, because if you're giving it all away, like, why are they going to buy the cow if they can get the milk for free? Which is just such an awful analogy, but I think we've all heard it. It makes sense, right? I don't know if I believe in the one or the other wholeheartedly. I think that there's a way to do both. I think that one of the ways that you can offer solutions to the pain points without, giving away the farm, to keep up with the cow analogy, is to talk about what without really digging too deeply into how. In that case, people coming back. But again, I don't know that I really subscribe to that, because part of the value, especially if you're in like a service oriented industry, is, yeah, you know what? You could scour my YouTube channel. You could scour all of my podcasts. You can scour my website and cobble together all the different things that I've shared over the course of time. Or, hey, I'm offering a class that's got it all in order, step by step, with coaching and Q&A and all those other things. Like, I don't really believe that by sharing your stuff and sharing your wisdom and giving answers to your people online is actually hurting you. I think it's serving you. I think it only serves you. So again, you do what you feel best and see what happens, right? Test it out. So that's like, offering solutions. The other thing that you can do about sharing content is repurposing your content, diversifying the format in which you share your content. And when I started thinking about this one, there are so many ways that you can repurpose something. Like, here I have a podcast, right? From which I'm reading off of a bulleted list, right? I have a list of notes that I've written for myself that is now turning into a discussion podcast. I can turn this podcast into a written transcript that is something that you can download after the fact. I can turn that transcript into a more formatted or edited blog post. I could take from that blog post and shoot short videos. I can create infographics off of this and post those on different social media platforms. I could do a newsletter about the different pieces in this episode. And that, I don't know, how many was that? Was that 7 or 8 off of this one podcast? So think about the different ways in which you can do that. And it's interesting because I know I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, yeah, Corinne, you could take this podcast and turn it into a transcript and turn it into a blog post and turn it into snippets and turn it into videos. But holy cow, that's a lot of time, right? So you have to also be realistic with yourself and maybe ease into, yeah, I'm going to diversify formats. Here's my list of 15 opportunities. I'm going to take the first one and I'm going to do that for the next couple of weeks, because holy cow, it's a lot, especially if you're a one-man show. And so diversify your formats, repurpose your content, and try to be really creative with this. I have a thing that I use for blogging where I have a whole system that I can't remember. I'm trying to think if I have shared it with you guys. That talks about, you take a blog, you format the blog in this way with these different sections, and you take those sections, and those sections become things that you talk about on social media each day of the week. And then all of those things combine into a newsletter. And there's a workflow for it, and it works really well, but it requires that blog post. It requires that written content, which, here I am speaking a podcast that can become that blog post, that can become that thing. So, it's interesting how easy it is to do it, or at least it is to brainstorm it, because again, it does take time to do all of these things. But if this were if you did have the budget, this might be an area where you could outsource, because if you're able to create that initial piece of content and then hire somebody to break it into pieces and create those little snippets and those infographics and those social media posts for you, maybe that's time well spent. The other thing is to share consistently, right? Establish a content schedule and stick to it, ensuring that you regularly provide fresh and valuable content and information to your people. This is a hard one, and it's probably the biggest, most important thing when it comes to posting online, right? This is week 19 of my podcast. I started this podcast at the beginning of this year, actually right before the new year at the end of December. And I have not missed. An episode comes out every single Tuesday. And while some episodes are more popular than the others, I do see an upward trajectory in my listeners, in my downloads, in the people that are taking action on the stuff that I'm sharing, because it's consistent, right? Every Tuesday, a new episode drops. Every Thursday, I send a newsletter about my Tuesday episode. I post online at the beginning of the week after my episode goes live. I have a system, and is it the best system? No. Can I improve it? Absolutely. But it's consistent. The things that I'm doing are consistent. And that's actually something that I wanted to say as well, because there are probably 200 more ways that I can be effective in marketing this podcast, for example. I am a one-man show. I have an assistant who works for me in my author business. I'm running the show on my own, launching this coaching this podcast and coaching business. And that's because the way that I operate is that my business needs to be run by me until I'm ready to hand off things. And that's when it's starting to have legs, right? So in the time period in which I'm doing all the things, I have to be able to do it myself. And so what that looks like is a consistent podcast with some consistent social media. Am I loading up the airwaves and running new ads every week? No, I don't have the bandwidth for it, right? I'm a calm entrepreneur, you guys. So I'm doing the simplest things that are prioritized for me. And I really want to sit on that point for a moment and say, I'm doing what works for me, full stop. This is what feels good. This is what's actually working. And I'm testing the things that I'm sharing and the way that I'm sharing things. And if things don't work, I stop. It's really that simple. So that's my second point about creating content that is more valuable. And that is about offering solutions, repurposing and diversifying the formats, and being consistent above all, right? So I don't want you to start making a promise to yourself that you're going to do 45 things in a week and rationalize to yourself, oh, that's only like 7 things a day or whatever that is, 7 times whatever, 6 things a day. And 6 things a day is easy. No, actually, you know what? It's a lot. Like sitting down in Canva and creating a carousel takes a long time. Everything takes longer than you think. So keep it simple. Do whatever it takes to be consistent, and do as little as it takes to be consistent. Because the minute you do too much, you're going to end up not wanting to do any of it. So there you go. Pro tip. Pro tip from somebody who has been up to her eyeballs in too much to do. So tip number 3, offer exceptional customer service. The key is just showing up and being real, right? Having policies and doing all those things. But when you go the extra mile to make your customers feel special, to make your listeners feel special, to make your readers feel heard, they will recommend your business. They will talk about you to the people who are looking for what you do. They will be that powerful marketing tool called word of mouth, right? So don't ever underestimate the value of really working to take care of the people who come to you. This is something that I had to learn over the course of time, of course, because nothing ever happens overnight, right? But specifically with Authorland, and I go back to Authorland a lot because it is the most active of all of my businesses these days. Whenever I get an email from a reader, I send out my email newsletter, to all of my readers, and I get replies back. And it could be so easy to just skim past them and never reply. I don't always reply in the moment because there are a lot of email replies these days, but I reply to every single one of them myself. It is not something that I will ever outsource. It is something that I find, it's a little thing that I can do to be real and to honor the fact that they took the time to email me. So sometimes it takes me a bit to get back to a singular email, and it might be a couple of weeks before I respond. But that's not because I've been waiting 2 weeks to respond. It's because I'm doing a few each day. And and because I've been doing it for such a long time, more and more people are responding. So I have more and more emails to get through. Is it the best use of my time? I don't know. I guess that's something for you to decide. I think it is, because I'm creating conversations with my readers. And sometimes I get emails from readers who have never emailed before, and they will say something in the email like, I don't expect you to respond, but if you read this, here's whatever it was, their answer to my question that I asked them in my email. And I make sure that when I respond to that person, I give them an even longer email, an even longer response. And I take a few minutes to be real and kind of like, hey guys, thanks so much for writing into me. I'm sorry it took a bit to get back, but hey, I love what you said. Thanks for sharing. Here's what's going on. That has done an enormous amount for my own business. So that's customer service, you guys. So investing in how to handle customer inquiries or even customer reviews or any of those things efficiently and effectively really does go a long way. And I think that going above and beyond, like always trying to exceed expectations, personalized attention, surprise discounts, tokens of appreciation, that's another thing, to go back to the idea of looking at what other verticals are doing. Doesn't matter what kind of business you run. Something that authors do really, really well is they have subscriber only special editions or, hardcovers that have a special flap that are only available to the people who subscribe or that are only available to the people who are in their groups. So there's lots of ways that you can do insider bonuses and, special touches that are only available to the people who are in the know. That's wonderful. It makes them feel special because they are special. They're here, right? They are special. And I think that we sometimes get lost in the numbers and say, I have X customers who spent X dollars and my group has this many people and I have this many subscribers. And I think that, there are a lot of numbers and a lot of metrics in business, but a lot of those numbers are individual human beings who have taken the time to invest in you. So I think that, giving back in that way by honoring them as people, it's invaluable. And I think that if that's on your list of marketing, then make it a marketing task, but show up to that task in your full person, right? Take a deep breath and soak in your heart for any customer facing work that you do. I promise you'll never, ever regret being real and being present. So that was number 3, customer service. Number 4, the dreaded social media. Leverage social media. I don't know that this is going to be news to anybody, right? But having a strong presence on social media is kind of crucial for modern businesses. And it is not my favorite. And it's something that I struggle with. It is not who I am as a person to show up online. And I have a really difficult time with it. And I tell you, when I do make a bajillion dollars, that's something that I might have to hire somebody to help me with, because it is not something that I love doing. I don't enjoy social media, and it has nothing to do with interacting with my people. It has to do with the rabbit hole. Like, I can't be trusted, you guys. I can't. It's distracting. There's just too much going on, and notifications. And then, oh, I have these other pages that I follow because, I like squirrels. Literally, I have squirrels as they're my favorite, you guys. But when I get on social media, when I get on the platforms that I use, with the exception of LinkedIn, I have not yet found a squirrel LinkedIn page to follow. But on Facebook and on Instagram and on Pinterest, holy cow, you guys, if I jump on there to do my work and then I jump on there to look at the things that I'm doing to see what else is happening, I get sucked in, and that's hard. So I share this with the hashtag, the struggle is real. Like, I feel the pain, but we do have to be present on social media in some way in most cases, right? So the way to leverage social media, I guess the most efficiently, is to figure out where your people are. Find your audience and figure out where they hang out and focus there, right? Choose the right platform. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't. I'm not even on Twitter anymore. I used to be I've probably been 10 years since I've been off that platform, more than 10 years. But you have to choose the right platforms and focus on the ones that can maximize your reach and that can help you be as present as possible. And again, the algorithms change a lot, and it's one of those things where, again, the paid advertising falls into this. It's not easy, and sometimes it feels futile, and it's just one of those things. So you have to just kind of figure out what is good for you and how much you're willing to do, and then how you're going to do it. Because if you respond to all your comments and encourage people to message you, that's a different thing than being present in a group and going live. So I think engaging with your audience in the way that feels right and the way that they're coming to you will help you there. And then using social media to share user-generated content. And what is user-generated content? It's reviews and testimonials and creative that your customers have shared to showcase your brand, right? So this happens a lot in products where we see, celebrities using products, and some of that's paid, but some of that's not. But if you are able to get a reader of your book to take a picture of themselves holding your book and then share that online, and then you can share their post, that's wonderful. That's authentic. That's somebody doing something naturally. But if you can encourage that to happen, and maybe they'll do it so that they want you to share it. Like, there's different ways to work with that and encourage your users. And street teams, I don't know if you're familiar with the term street teams. A lot of authors use them. It's like a small group of people, dedicated fans, who become like the launch team. They're the ones who are out there championing your brand and sharing the things that are happening on your behalf, simply because they love what you do. And then you, in return, can flip that over and offer exceptional customer service to these people by giving them special, street team swag or bonuses that are only available to them as a thank you, that become collectibles, right? All of these things, we're limited only by our creativity. So that was number 4, social media. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I think we all are inundated with how to do social media. Number 5 is host webinars and workshops, right? This is a fantastic way to not only get out there and be present, but it's a way to showcase your expertise, right? So you can connect with people by doing what you do And I think that if any of us are online, you've attended these, you've seen these. Come on my free webinar, come on my free workshop, come on my 5-day challenge, which, the reason why people do these things is, number one, they are effective at serving your customer. If you're able to provide a transformation in a 1-hour webinar where I'm going to teach you my 3 go-to tips for XYZ, or join my 5-day challenge, my 3-day challenge, my whatever challenge, and at the end of this 5 days, you're going to have this. If you're able to encapsulate a piece of what you do into something simple and easy to deliver like that, that's gold, you guys. That's easy to produce. They're inexpensive. And social media, again, allows us for the mechanism to do these things. If you don't have something offline like a Kajabi or a Teachable or any one of those softwares. So webinars and workshops, they are free or low cost. They're on topics that relate to your business, and they provide value to the attendees that they can apply right away, right? That helps you build trust and credibility. It brings more participants into your fold. And typically when you have a webinar or a workshop, the registration is a lead magnet. So you have those people who register opt in to receive your emails. And again, if you're being legal, the GDPR and other honest dealings with your email list requires that people have an opt-in for those things. But that webinar then does 3 things, right? It connects you with your audience, it showcases your expertise, and it's a list builder, right? So that's something to think about. Let's see. Customer service, again, with webinars, following up with the attendees, sending thank you notes and connecting with them and seeing how they shared what they've learned, encouraging them to share what they've learned on their own social media. Like that's another way to connect the dots on what you're doing and make the return on your investment of your time that much more valuable, right? Number 6, attend networking events, right? Networking events are a gold mine. Like how many times have you heard, if you listen to other podcasts, people, I attended a mastermind this weekend with all these people, or they had these big networking events or these summits. If you are ever in a position to attend a networking event, and that can be something on Zoom with a whole bunch of people in your industry, or it can be some huge event that happens, like, the big famous ones that are out there that, they could cost a pretty penny to get a ticket. If you're in a position to do so, I will always say yes. Always, always, always say yes to those things if you have the time. I have yet to attend a networking event that did not result in at least one really solid connection that I was able to carry forward as a friendship, as a peer, as a mastermind person who I could hit up for to say, hey, can we brainstorm? Right? So networking events are enormous. And to prepare for yourself being in a networking event, something that you really should have nailed is your elevator pitch, right? You need to have a concise, compelling intro of your business, what you do, why you do it, what made you be the person that you are in your business, why you chose this business. If you can give that in an elevator pitch, you come off as really professional. You're not taking up any more time than is necessary to get your point across and to share what you're doing. And it allows for more space for sharing with other people, right? And that requires then being a good listener, right? You have to show genuine interest in the other people. Like you're not there just to talk about your business. You're there to network, right? You're there to connect. So you share your piece and then you receive everybody else's pieces too. And then follow up, keep track of the people that you connected with. Networking events are just, they're the bread and butter of being an entrepreneur in any field. Going to professional conferences and using them as a networking event while you're learning, like all of that is it's just so good. So number 6 is networking events. Number 7, encourage customer reviews and testimonials. This is something that I think that we all get a lot of. How many times have you purchased something and then you get an email a few days later. So, share your testimonial. Could you share a review? Could you give a 5-star review? Did you buy this thing on Amazon? Can you go to Yelp? Can you do the Trustpilot? The reason why we get inundated with those requests is because they are just that valuable. How often when you're about to buy something, do you check out the reviews? Like, raise your hand. Mine's up all the time. And sometimes it isn't even the reviews, it's just the volume of social proof. So all of that is valuable. And the way that you get it is by asking for it. And when you do ask for reviews and testimonials, make sure that you thank the people that give them to you if it's appropriate to do so. Like, it's difficult to do that on Amazon. Like, you don't want to go on every review and reply, thank you, thank you. But if it's done in such a way that they shared it with you or they tagged you in it and it's a positive review, share the love, say thank you. And also, don't ignore negative feedback. Respond professionally to negative feedback when it's headed your way. That is not to say that you should go out into the world and attack somebody after they have posted a negative review that you happened to find online. I think that we need to tread really lightly on that one. And this, again, comes from Authorland. Reviews are not for you. Reviews are for your other customers. But if the negative feedback has to do with something that happened in their service and you have the means to solve that issue, by all means, do what you can. Show up professionally and say, whoa, let me, I'm happy to fix that for you. Let me help you. That's number 7, customer reviews and testimonials. Number 8, offer referral incentives, which is also known as affiliate programs. Referral programs are a great way to encourage your current customers to bring in new clients, right? You can offer deals, discounts, cashback, rewards to your own customers when they refer others to your business. And a lot of the services these days that we use to host our courses and our products, they have a built-in affiliate system. And if they don't, there are some that you can use as an adjacent. But I think that looking for joint ventures in that way and referral programs, it's huge. And I remember listening to Jenna Kutcher, who has the Gold Digger podcast. She offers a bunch of classes on different things, from how to run a Pinterest, how to create a podcast, among many other things. But she shared on a year-end wrap-up that her affiliate revenue was a surprisingly large portion of her business, which it's wonderful to hear. That's fantastic, right? So don't overlook the value of referral incentives. And this actually also works with social media partnerships with when you do like influencer kind of marketing deals where you say, hey, if you want to come on live and do a shared Instagram live with me to talk about my course so that we can market it to your customers, we can create a special link that anybody that comes in, you can get a referral for that, a referral bonus. So it's some people get really confused by how the operating works on the back end, but it's actually not as complicated as it sounds. So referral incentives or affiliate agreements, something to look into if you, especially if you are an online product-based business. Number 9, create eye-catching visuals. This is something that I think we all can do all the time. And if you spend any time online, you can spot people who have spent the time working on their visuals, working on their graphics, working on their branding. And I think that today we have Canva, and it's like, holy cow, you guys, the templates that are available in Canva are just like so incredible. And so I think that visuals play a huge role in attracting attention and making your brand memorable. So invest in high quality graphics, invest in nice looking pictures, videos that showcase your products and services. And you don't have to be a professional designer. Canva is for the layperson. It helps you maintain brand consistency. And this is one of those things where, have your brand kit with your colors and your fonts and the styles that you use to create that cohesive feel of your visuals, and use high quality images. If you can't invest in professional photography, then use high resolution stock images, and Deposit Photos is one of those places where you can get those. Make sure that you are licensed to use every photograph that you use in your business, on your website, in your social media, everything. Experiment with design tools. Adobe Spark, in addition to Canva. There's another one called BookBrush. If you need something that shows 3D book images. So experiment, use high quality images, and try to create a brand kit so that you can create more eye-catching visuals for your brand. I think that is low-hanging fruit, and it's something that I think, even hearkening back to my web design days, I think this is overwhelming for a lot of people when you think about branding. It doesn't really have to be. I think that there's a simple formula to creating a brand, and you can iterate your brand. You don't have to be married to the same thing every time, right? Once you pick a logo and your fonts and your colors, in time, those things might change. And if that's the case, then change with them. It's fine. We are the boss, right? How wonderful is that we get to choose? So that was number 9, eye-catching visuals. Number 10, it's something that is really kind of overlooked anymore in our online business world, but it's participate in local events, right? Get involved in your local community, participate in events like fairs, charity events and fundraisers. They have all kinds of like neighborhood gatherings. And this is not only to show that your local community, that you're in business doing what you do, but it also helps build trust and goodwill because you then become like this person. You become a human that people know outside of this persona that you have online, right? So some tips for doing this is to identify some events that might be where your audience would also be. And like I said, community events, charity fundraisers, neighborhood gatherings, anything that aligns with your brand values and your target audience. And if you are a B2B, like if you serve other entrepreneurs with your service, the Chamber of Commerce is a networking organization that has all of the community's people involved. So don't forget about local people, right? You can also volunteer to speak at local events. You can host a workshop in your local area. You can contribute your skills in a way that is maybe pro bono, but then in exchange for advertising, right? And this is one of those, oh yeah, we'll do it for exposure. That is not the same thing as offering to be part of your community in exchange for showing up as a sponsor on an event, for example. So showing up locally helps you build relationships, right? You become a member of your community in the real world, right? All the things that we're trained to do on social media, you can do those live in person, by strapping on your shoes and going downtown, right? So I think that the net of that one is don't forget the local stuff, right? There's a whole world outside of your computer that's happening all around you. And it's full of all the people that you're targeting online. People are people. So there you have it. I have 10 affordable ways to market your business without paid advertising. And I think that with a little creativity and effort, you can grow your brand's presence and attract new customers without spending a fortune on paid ads. And again, nothing against paid ads, but we need to start looking for different ways that augment and support our paid advertising, right? Because the key to success is building genuine connections with your audience, right? And in order to do that, we have to reach our audience. And we can do that by providing valuable content and fostering a sense of community around our brands, right? So if you implement any of these strategies, let me know, because I think that any of them will help us get further on our way to being more successful and creating more outreach, to help our business soar without breaking the bank. So there we have it. I hope this episode was useful for you. And if it was, please send me an email at hello@corinneoflynn.com. And I'm going to put this list together in my show notes, and you can go check that out on my website, which will be available at CorinneO'Flynn.com/episode 19. And that's the word episode and the digits 19. And again, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you for listening and have a great day. Remember, part of being a calm entrepreneur is developing the systems, habits, and know-how that lets you know that you are the one in the driver's seat. You get to choose how you run your business, and you get to choose how you work. So you got this. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of the Calm Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Corinne O'Flynn, and if this episode was valuable to you, please head on over and rate and review wherever you consume your podcasts. Please subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. New episodes go out each week on Tuesdays, and I look forward to hanging with you again. This is Corinne signing off. Have an excellent day.